Hey everyone, you know that little device in your pocket? The one you probably can't live without? Well, it has a secret life, and today we're going to pull back the curtain and explore the incredible universe of technology that's packed inside your smartphone.
I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. We use our phones for texting, scrolling social media, snapping photos, but that's like barely scratching the surface of what these little powerhouses can actually do. So today, we're going to change all that.
And get this isn't just some catchy phrase, it's a fact. The processing power you carry around in your hand every single day is literally more powerful than the computers that took humanity to the moon. Isn't that wild? So, with that in mind, let's start by figuring out what makes these things tick.
Okay, so let's start our journey with the part of the phone we're all most familiar with, that bright, beautiful screen. It's our window to pretty much everything, right? But how does it actually work?
Okay, for anyone who remembers these, this was it, the old cathode ray tube monitor, or CRT. They were just massive, incredibly heavy, took up half your desk, and guzzled power just to create an image. Yeah, a far cry from that sleek piece of glass in your hand right now. I mean, just look at the difference. It's absolutely staggering. And this evolution from a giant, heavy box to a super thin panel wasn't just a simple upgrade. No way. It was the key that unlocked true portability. It's what made the modern smartphone even possible. So, how do these new screens even make a picture? Well, it all comes down to one tiny, simple concept: the pixel. You can think of your screen as a giant grid of millions and millions of tiny light bulbs, and each one can change into millions of different colors. When they all work together, they form every single letter, icon, and photo you see.
Okay, so how are all those millions of pixels controlled? Well, in a common LCD screen, try to imagine a million tiny little window blinds. There's a big light source at the very back, and these blinds, which are actually made of liquid crystals and filters, open and close at unbelievable speeds to let just the right amount of light through for each individual pixel.
And that brings us to the two main screen types you'll find in phones today: LCD and OLED. Now, with an LCD, that big backlight is always on. So a black pixel is really just trying its best to block the light, which is why blocks can sometimes look a little, well, gray. But with an OLED, it's a total game changer. Each pixel makes its own light, so to make a pixel black, it just turns off completely. And that's the secret to those super deep, true blacks and those incredibly vibrant, punchy colors you see on high-end phones. All right, enough about hardware for a second. That's how it works, but what can we do with it? Let's dig into some amazing things you can use this tech for in ways you probably never knew about. We're about to unlock some seriously cool hidden features you can start using right now.
Okay, here's a brilliant one for all you iPhone users. You ever been in a crowded place, like a train or a coffee shop, and you get a random AirDrop request from a total stranger? Well, your phone is actually smart enough to recognize you're in a public space, and it can automatically make you invisible to people you don't know, so you don't get spammed with weird photos. And the best part? It's on by default. You don't have to do a thing.
You know that simple little Notes app? Yeah, it's way more powerful than you think. You can actually scribble a math problem, like with your finger, and the phone will recognize it and solve it for you. Or, and this is one I use all the time, if you can't draw a straight line to save your life, just sketch a wobbly circle or square, hold your finger down for a second, and snap. It turns into a perfect shape. So incredibly useful.
All right, want to try something a little more advanced? Something that feels like straight-up magic? You can now use AI to make any object in a photo come to life. Seriously, there are websites where you can upload a picture of, I don't know, your coffee mug, type in what you want it to say, and the AI will generate a video of your mug talking. It's a super simple process, and it's a hilarious way to see the crazy power of creative AI right from your phone. Speaking of photos, let's dive back into the hardware for a bit and tackle another piece of magic we totally take for granted: the camera. I mean, how does it turn what you see with your eyes into a digital image in literally a fraction of a second? Well, it all starts with light, and the most basic, fundamental little particle of light is called a photon. You can think of photons as these tiny, invisible packets of light energy flying all around us. Every single photograph you've ever taken is simply your camera's amazing ability to catch these photons. So, to really understand how a camera sensor works, just picture a huge grid with millions and millions of tiny buckets. When you go to take a photo, it's like opening the floodgates. All those little buckets, each one representing a single pixel, start collecting the light photons that fly in. The more photons a bucket catches, the brighter that little spot becomes in the final picture. It's kind of beautiful when you think about it that way, right?
Now, if you've ever messed around with your camera's manual settings, you've probably seen a setting called ISO. What is that? Well, think of ISO as an amplifier for the light your sensor collected. It's fantastic for taking pictures when it's dark, but there's always a trade-off. When you amplify that light signal, you also amplify any random electrical interference, which our eyes see as noise, that grainy, fuzzy look. So yeah, a higher ISO means a brighter photo, but it also might mean a grainier one.
Okay, so we've seen how the screen works, how the software has hidden tricks, and how the camera sees the world. But all of this amazing tech is constantly evolving, building towards something new. So let's do a little time travel. Let's look to the future and ask, what is the phone in your pocket going to be capable of in just a couple of years?
By 2026, you can expect some really major shifts. We're talking about AI not just living in your apps, but being built right into the core of your phone, automatically doing tasks for you. Foldable phones, they're going to become way more common and, thankfully, more affordable. Your camera will use AI to take impossibly clear low-light photos. And get this, satellite connectivity will mean you can get a signal pretty much anywhere on Earth. No more dead zones.
But before we wrap this up, I've got a few quick, mind-blowing facts about that device you use every single day. You ready for these?
Okay, brace yourself. You've seen that number right. On average, your phone has 18 times more bacteria than a public toilet handle. Yeah. Maybe it's time to give it a little wipe down after this.
How about this one? 110. That's about how many times the average person unlocks their smartphone every single day. Kind of makes you realize just how central these things have become in our lives, doesn't it?
And finally, think today's flagship phones are pricey? Well, the very first commercial cell phone sold in the US back in 1983 cost $4,000. And that was in 1983 money. Suddenly, that new phone doesn't seem quite so bad, huh?
So we've seen how far this tech has come, from clunky screens to brilliant AI that fits right in the palm of our hand. The journey has been absolutely incredible, and it's moving faster than ever. Which really leaves us with the big question, right? Now that you know all this, what's next? What's the one thing you wish your phone could do?